Excuse the mess, if you will. Anywho, this is a nice stuck propeller. It's pretty stuck. So we're going to have to use alternate methods to pull it off because pulling it doesn't come off. So I've done a few different ways. This is going to be a new little experiment of mine. Prior, I had to use chain and stuff, but I'm going to try it with some strap material. Basically what I'm doing here is using the puller, obviously to rig up a puller, but to pull the propeller off via the fins. Now, the key here is to get this on before you hammer all the fins off trying to get the propeller, because the puller needs to be tied to the fins. My only concern doing it this way and not using a cable is the stretch of the rope might be a little too great. So I might have to go actually get some cable for this. If so, you're not going to see this footage anyway. So I don't know why I'm mentioning it. But might as well, right? Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Just tying a piece of strap around each fin as I go. This strap has a knot right in the middle of it. But it doesn't look like it's really affecting it. And I want to keep that centered over that prop shaft the best I can, while pulling nice and tight. Alright. Puller ropes are set up. Should be able to get to our puller bolt. Alright, luck, don't fail me now. Did I use the wrong puller? Don't tell me I used the wrong puller. So I have two of these. One has some pretty chewed up threads on it. I don't think it's this one. Kidding, I do. But. Alright, now the compressor has stopped going. Let's try this again. As you can see, the cables didn't do much. That's unfortunate. The straps. We'll let it sit overnight. We'll let it sit overnight, see how it does. Yeah, let's throw in a spacer so you can get more pull out of it. If I get my hand in there, of course. And this thing, without taking all the ropes back off. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Might be just a little too big. But nothing some forcing won't take care of them, alright? Back in business. So, good news, propeller definitely moved a bit. The spacing right here, I got a good 1/8 of an inch out of it. So, recenter this just a bit. Looks like this, pulling it a little sideways. I'm going to retie that. There, good enough. that's about it. I'm gonna let it sit for a while. Time and pressure will make diamonds. It'll pull this prop off. Alright, well that didn't work at all. Now, it did move a little bit. Enough to give you hope, you know? But not enough to come off. So, we are going to do plan B. Plan B involves a propeller nut. We're just going to thread it right back onto where it goes. Just like so. Now, these are usually, pretty much always, nice soft brass nut. So you, well, I'll explain in a second. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be hammering down on the propeller shaft. The problem is I don't want to ruin the threads. So usually when you do that, you put a nut on it and hammer on the nut. The problem is this is just a brass little nut. If you expect to hammer on that without destroying the nut, you're going to destroy the nut. Alright, so the plan here, that nut is 1/2 inch or so shy of the propeller itself. So I have this brass hammer. You can use any hammer really. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push up on one of the fins while tapping on the propeller nut shaft here. But keep in mind, this is just level with it. So in theory, most of my hitting is going to be on the propeller shaft itself, which can take the force, unlike the brass nut here. And move just a bit. See, it kind of wiggled out of there. Now the problem is propeller is flush with the nut, so we're going to have to back the nut off a little bit. Now again, we don't want to hammer on that nut. So I'm going to use a old Chinesium 3/8 drive extension. I'm going to put it right there. The nuts kind of act as a guide. I'm going to kind of try to hold it up-ish. Don't think I'll be able to. How am I going to do this? I guess a shorter one they didn't worry about destroying would come in handy. Now we have a pretty good gap here. It's pretty obvious this thing's coming off. I'm going to pull the nut off entirely. Give it some light taps. Pretty flush. Now if you get lucky, it'll just come off at this point with some prying. If you're not lucky, you got to remember, propeller is cheaper than a new propeller shaft or a gear case. Feel free to hammer the crap out of the propeller. I'm going to go with the just yank it off approach. Now the propeller shaft metal is usually of pretty high quality material, and usually the rust and gunk and everything else in there will usually clean up with little effort. So I'll get some steel wool in there, clean up the splines, and the lower should be fine. Now one other thing. That was a reenactment. You can tell because the thrust washer here, which goes in the back of the propeller, was sitting on my desk the whole time. Somebody's a genius and forgot to hit record, so I just kind of redid it. Now the propeller, I didn't ruin. I mean, you can still use it. You just would never want to. because of the straps. But the inside is pretty rusty anyway. You probably don't want to use it. So most of the time the strap will work. But again, most of the time doing my hitting the propeller shaft method will work too. So you can go with whatever method you want. You don't need one of those massive fancy dancy propeller pullers for this kind of situation. Usually some impacting on the shaft or the propeller. Usually you'll get them off. I've had this engine, my little collection here, for I don't know, 5 years, 6 years, and I've never done anything with it. I plan on doing something with it here soon, so that's why I wanted to start checking it out, and that's what I noticed. The propeller was stuck on there, so I've never had it off. I don't know how long it's been on there for, but whoever put it on there sure didn't use any type of grease or anything. So if you get it off, clean the shaft up, put some grease on it before you reinstall your new propeller. Well, it's winter time, so I'm not really working on outboards much. Just doing little things here and there, so you'll still see some videos from me for a little while. I got another big project I'm working on, so when that's done, you'll see a whole slew of videos for it. All right, everybody, until next time.